Good afternoon, and welcome to More Than Meets the Eye. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and for today we will be covering the Star Wars Black Series, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Darth Vader. Here he is, in all of his glory, all of his dark Sith Lord glory. This is my first Darth Vader I've ever owned. I'm really super excited to have a Darth Vader. I tell you that one right now. And I'm going to bring it to you guys and talk to you about it today and tell you the pros and cons of the Obi-Wan Kenobi Darth Vader. And, well, let's get into it. Please, stay tuned to the end, and I'll give you my final thoughts on this guy, because it's quite an excellent figure. And I can't wait to tell you, because I do have some issues with it, but I do have a lot of positives. So let's get right into it with the, let's do the field test. Let's talk about the feel of this figure. And this figure's feeling is just, it's a beast. It's a little heavy. It's not as heavy as I would like it to be. I think that Darth Vader could have been a little heavier, but I think they went a little soft on his feet and his legs. And I'll talk about that. But you got this nice shiny armor, and we're going to get more into that when we talk about texture and sculpting. But for the most part, this guy feels, he's heavy, he's beef, he's got all of this really fun cloth on him. He's got his he's got this little skirt cloak that runs around his legs. We can pick up the other one, fold it over for a second so that we can look at the skirt around him. That's a nice little skirt that he's got, and I do like how it runs down the back of his legs. This is just, it's a nice skirt. It's actually really weird to have such a big, some big cloth pieces in an action figure, and that's really cool. I'm enjoying these cloth pieces. And so let's talk articulation. Articulation is, he's got a ball joint in his head, I think. Can his head? No. His head can't really look. Oh wait, it can kind of look down and it can kind of look up, but it looks left and it looks right. Okay. It doesn't have any sort of, he can't bend his head to the left or his head to the right. That's a bit annoying. I was hoping there'd be more articulation in his head, but you can get away with Darth Vader, because Darth Vader is he's filled with robot parts. But another thing about him is that I don't think his shoulders are wide enough. His shoulders don't feel wide enough to me. I think that they need to be just a bit wider, or maybe it's just that his pauldrons get cut off on the edges. I don't know, but I just feel like his shoulders are not wide enough for Vader. Arm-wise, he's got all the traditional joints that you would expect from Hasbro in most action figures when it comes to the upper arm. He does have bicep swivel, and he does get himself some double-jointed elbows. No, wait. Not double-jointed elbows, sorry. Just single-jointed. But for some reason, he can hyperextend his elbow backwards. Like, look at that. Look at that hyperextension he can do. Ugh, that's just creepy. I accidentally did that trying to figure out if he had a second elbow or not. And now he's got a fricked up arm. The other one doesn't do that, but the other one's really stiff. But it can also fold backwards a bit. He can be just... Why? Why is that possible? Why is it possible to fold his arm back on itself and hyperextend it, but no double-jointed elbows for this guy, which is a shame. The hands do have their, they can swivel, they have some moldability, they have a joint in them to allow them to move back and forth. The joint in the other hand, it's the same. He can move back and forth the hand and also swivel it. He can swivel it and helicopter it. But that is that for those things. Core-wise, for the core body, this guy has no articulation in his core. He does have a waist swivel, but it's slightly blocked by this skirt and stuff. So not much of a waist swivel either. But then again, it was Darth Vader. He wasn't known for being a limber guy. He was a pretty beef monster. But still, that is upsetting that they didn't give us any sort of core crunch, so we could get some better spots in there. Hips have all the joint activity, all the articulation that you've come to expect from Star Wars and from Hasbro. The knees are double-jointed knees, and then the feet are You can move the feet all the way back. The feet can twist. Can we get them? Yeah, you can get a side to side twist, but there's no foot toe articulation or anything like that. And that's it for articulation on this guy. Not the best, not the best at all. The Cobra Bat definitely wins out on articulation, which is a bit of a shame because there are some nice looks that you can get with Darth Vader if he had a little more articulation, or at least some things to help balance him, like having some core articulation so that you could pull back the upper body for unique poses so he could stabilize and balance himself. That would have been nice. So let's talk molding now. Let's get right into the molding. All right, I love his shoulders. His shoulder pauldron molding is quite excellent. It comes all the way down to his chest. It looks really nice. It feels really nice. I just think it's cut off a little too short. I thought the shoulder pauldrons would have gone over more. But I'm going to show you how to fix that with the cape. I've been kind of keeping the cape in the back so that we can look at the figure. But in a minute, I'll talk about that. So let's talk the molding on his head. I love the really glossy finish they've put on the cap, on his helmet. It's really glossy. It feels like, it would look in the movie. His eyes are in there, and they're really well done. I like those eyes. You can feel them just slightly, but they are super glossy. And then he's got his weird nose. I like the weird nose, the triangular nose thing. It was so weird and made him such an iconic villain. And they've done all of that excellent. They did not skip a step when it came to giving us the proper sculpt work for this guy, even to the point of giving us the little areas where there's negative space between the helmet edges and his actual faceplate. That's cool. The only thing I wish this thing had was the ability to take this helmet piece off. I don't know why they didn't just include that. I think that would have been a fun addition. Just take the helmet off. But oh well. We've got that nice helmet. Let's get to his core. So we've talked about his shoulder pauldrons, how they come down to, just below his breast area. And then you got all those little dials and switches that we remember from the movies with all the cool lights and stuff. That's his little pad where all the science happens to keep his body in check, and nobody ever attacks it. Nobody ever attacks it at all. You would think that he's got such a vulnerability looking right there, but nobody can get close enough to hit it because all he does is just ding, ding, ding. Oh, you're trying to hit my vulnerable spot. Bing, 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 bing. Just bounces all of the bolts away back to him and hurts him with it. But then again, if anyone was actually using slug rounds, they could tear him up. Slug rounds tear Jedi up. And Sith. Okay. Now that's his core. I love that you've got each individual little light and dial and little boop-bop thing that we saw in the movies is right there on his chest. And come down here to his belt area. His belt's really nice. It's got some cool textures to it. It feels like a utility belt. So there's even a couple of pockets on either side. And I do wish that this lightsaber had come with the removable light beam, and it actually had a hilt holder on his belt so that you could put his lightsaber away. He could holster his lightsaber. That would have been cool. Coming down to his crotch area, we don't have really much there, but this is interesting. This entire front crotch piece is just added on. Like if you feel in here, the actual crotch of the figure is hidden underneath this codpiece. That's kind of neat. It's this big, thick rubber piece that runs down between his legs. Look on his legs. We've got this really fun texture on his upper thigh. That's like a neoprene style texture, and that's really cool. It's definitely like Kevlar or some sort of body armor on the upper thigh area. Then you get down to his knee. He's got his spiky kneecaps, and then he's got his shiny boot that runs all the way from his knee down. They went with a thigh swivel for him instead of a foot swivel because this boot goes all the way down. They had no brakes. They didn't give us any sort of swivel for the boot. I absolutely love that. I love the fact that this boot won't break in half so that you can have a lower leg swivel. Excellent, excellent. Good grief, a cat hair got in my nose. I'm going to have to take the vacuum cleaner to this room. So, that is that. Oh, wait. One last thing. You know how much I love talking about it. Let's look at the bottom of the feet here. They didn't do anything. They didn't texture. They put some sort of texture there, but there's no sort of. That's a little sad. That's an attention to detail I always enjoy. The question is who looks at the bottom of the boots. Blind Prime looks at the bottom of the boots. That's who looks at the bottom of the boots. And I look with my hands, and I can feel where you're slipping up. I can feel the spots where you decide not to do anything to save a couple of extra pennies. But I found them. I found that you didn't sculpt the bottom of his boots. You just left it plain. You sculptors, naughty, naughty. I want a Darth Vader that's sculpted all the way, 100%. Did we talk about his arm? I mean, we talked about the articulation, but we didn't talk about the feel of the figure's arms. He's got another rough texture for his upper arm, as in like a neoprene sort of laser-proof armor he's got, or it could just be cloaked and stuff. But it's more of that artificial skin, so that he could actually live. And besides that, I think his arm is mostly just robot. And we come down here to his hand. He's got nice swivels going on. He's got a cool bicep swivel, and his hand moves around. We talked about that. But I like the glove that comes up to his arm. And this is his left hand, which if I remember right, is the hand that was removed. So there's that. It's cool. And he's got a nice hand on his left hand that's more of an open style hand. And if you watch my YouTube shorts, you see I've actually had it kind of positioned around the neck of Amazing Spider-Man from Toy Biz. So that is Darth Vader's sculpt and how he feels in the hand. He's got a little lightsaber here. We'll talk about that for a second. Vader, why? It's that core, man. I really wish you had a core crunch. It really helps balance the figure. That core crunch is necessary for balance. So we've got... It does. I didn't think it did. But the lightsaber bit removes from the lightsaber. That is cool. Good job, Hasbro. Good job. I'll give you that one begrudgingly. Let's feel this lightsaber. We've got the little nubbin where it turns on. We've got... Really, it's more of a rectangular lightsaber or octangular. No, not hexagon. It's a hexagon lightsaber. It's got more of a hexagon feel than a tube feel. You got 6 perfect sides on this thing. 2 of the sides are a bit longer, but that's hexagon for you. And it comes up. Nice sculpt work for the lightsaber. Excellent sculpt work for the lightsaber. I'll give them that. And let's put that away, back in your hand. Cool. Got to control that lightsaber, man. All right, let's talk about his cape. His cape is a cool part that I wasn't expecting to get with this. I love this giant soft goods cape. This cape is large. It's a really long cape. Where's my bat? Let's see. Bat, how are you on this cape measurement? All right, so if we measure from the shoulders of Darth Vader all the way down, the cape is almost as long as the bat is tall. Okay, now here's a cool thing about the cape. All right, there's ways that the cape can be put on your Darth Vader. Now, number one way is kind of the way I have it, where it's just all across his back. But in the movies, he has had it a few different ways. And the way they built this figure, they thought about that, and they gave us multiple different ways to portray the cape. So you can pick up this back shoulder piece and actually fold the cape bits over a bit. And then you can pick up this other back shoulder piece. All right, we'll grab this other back shoulder piece here. We're going to pick it up as well because it can just be picked up. And then this cape can be slid underneath it. Oh my God, that's so awesome. And now you've got Darth Vader with the cape under the shoulder pauldrons. Now we've seen this Darth Vader. I think this was Return of the Jedi Darth Vader. I'm not sure. But you can get Darth Vader with the cloak under the shoulder pauldrons. Then what you can do is we're just going to pull it out from underneath the shoulder pauldrons. And if you want a different look for your Darth Vader, you can take the cape and you fold it over the shoulder pauldrons. Look at that. Look at that. That's a different look for Vader. That's a different look. That's a different movie entirely, where he had his cape over his shoulders and his shoulder armor, like he put it on after he put on the armor. So I just wanted to let you guys know that this was a figure that they thought about it and they gave us some versatility by making sure that this piece that goes around his shoulders, we're going to flip him upside down to give an idea of what it looks like, and hold that up so you could see there's a cut in the on the back area there. And I do like how the fabric goes all the way down, even though the cape is over, floating here. The fabric is still covering his entire back from the skirt, and that's cool. I love that the entire back of this guy is fabric, and you can feel in there where they put some sculpt work in. And but I wanted to showcase that there's a big split in the back of that. And let's go ahead and see if we can feel underneath this stuff. Oh, I see. So the fabric is actually held on with the head and the shoulders and the arms. And let's see, can we get a finger underneath his skirt? And this is all right. You know what? This is not going to be a me too thing. I am not. Oh, you can't even really get in there to feel what the actual sculpt work is on his back, because that fabric is pretty locked down. But on his back, you can feel that there is a backbone filling bit, and that's about it. They really went minimalistic on that back structure. But all right, let's flip you around. I like his cape under his shoulder pauldrons, so I'm going to do that real quick. I'm just going to put one under there, and I'm going to slip the other one under. There we go. And pull it tight. Make sure it's not screwing up. It's screwing up. You're screwing up. Hey, stop screwing up. Screwing around. Gonna screw around, you're gonna have a bad day, Darth Vader. Alright, there we go. Now the cape is under his shoulders. I like it that way. I like it. I like it a lot. I like this Darth Vader. I am not a fan of the Black Series. We have talked about that in the past on this channel. I do not like the Black Series. I do not like their articulation, and I think they're a bit on the lazy side when it comes to the figure construction. The Black Series I've gotten a hold of have never been excellent have never been excellent action figures in my opinion. But I do have exceptions because, I don't entirely hate lines and refuse to buy everything from them. I will dislike a line, but still notice whenever it's done something appropriately awesome. And that is what this Darth Vader is. It's appropriately awesome. It has a few flaws. I don't like the fact it's missing core crunch. I dislike the fact it doesn't have double jointed elbows, and no extra foot articulation or molding on the bottom of the foot. But I love this guy's feel. I love how this guy looks to the hands. I absolutely think that this is one excellent action figure for all of its flaws. It is the best Darth Vader I've ever owned. And then again, next to Lego Darth Vaders, this is the only Darth Vader I've ever owned. So take that with a grain of salt, if you will. But personally speaking, I'm one. This is my Darth Vader now. He's going to be with me for years. I like this guy. Stop face planting against my hand. Okay, thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you can find this Darth Vader on the shelf and you've been sitting on the fence and wondering, should I get a Darth Vader? Do I really need a Darth Vader for my collection? If you don't have a Darth Vader in your collection and you want a Darth Vader in your collection, now's the time. This Obi-Wan Kenobi Darth Vader is the Darth Vader for you if you are missing a Darth Vader, if you have a hole in your collection, because the way that cape works, you can change him up to be a couple of different Darth Vaders. And I think I'm just going to let you off on that one. Tune in next Prime, where we will be talking about Transformers Legacy Knockout in his robot mode. And then on Wednesday, we will be covering Core Class Ratchet, unless a hurricane comes by and blows out my power. But I'm pretty sure that the hurricane's not really going to affect me that much. More in the central Florida region. But if it does, then there's not going to be a video on Wednesday. But if there's a video on Wednesday, then I'll leave the window open in the studio so y'all can hear the hurricane outside. Won't that be fun? All right. Until next Prime. Bye-bye for now.